Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope all is well. Okay, so one of my PAs goes live today. Another one, the bottom one there, which is past, goes live on Tuesday. And I'm just in the middle of another evaluation as well. So, new rule is if I lose one trade on a PA account, I'll either switch over to a sim or an evaluation. So I seem to be having, I can make money, I just can't seem to keep it. So it's, you know, still having a bit of a psychological effect on me, a loss. So I have reduced down to one contract, so it's a little bit slower, less risk. So hopefully the combination of just the one trade a day, maximum of one loss a day, should hopefully get me trading on a little bit more of a calmer level. So fingers crossed. So market is officially open. We've got a leg down there and what looks to be like another leg. Nomad, how you doing, bud? So leg and a leg. So I was looking at the NQ. So there is a possibility. We got this leg up there. We got maybe a correction. And maybe we're going to push further up. There is a possibility of maybe something bigger there in the works. I don't know. It's a bit early yet to speculate. But Chris, how you doing, buddy? So fingers crossed. So we seem to have a bit of a channel there with a break and a new low. A couple of pushes down to a new low. We're getting down to these the overnight lows. That's where the measured move is. If you take it from there, we do seem to be making highs, consistently. But that was an odd day. I can't remember the last time we had a day quite that tight from top to bottom. I mean, literally, most of the day it was working sort of somewhere around about this level. So around about 10 points, just over, maybe, let's say maybe 11 or 12 points. Literally at its lowest, but most of the day it was sort of within a 10-point range, which is quite unusual. So, and not a huge amount of volume. There was some setups. So the setups I took. Hey, Kev, how you doing, buddy? So the setups I took, that high low Mac marked, that trading marked, and that trading marked. So all three that I took there, he marked. And in all fairness, I thought they're absolute beauty. So it was nice to see him mark there. So although it was a choppy day, not much from top to bottom, there were a few trades around. That one was an absolute beauty. There was a higher low there, but I was in that anyway. That one again, same again. It had come up and hit that level and dropped, and I absolutely love that one as well. So it went nice. That what I do, one contract, and it's much. Yeah, absolutely. I've fought to try and do two contracts, but ultimately it's common sense, isn't it? The more you risk, the more stress. You risk $10, no stress. You risk $100, a little bit more stress. And if I allow myself one loss a day, at least even on a large bar at one contract, my max loss for a day shouldn't really be any more than 2 points. At least that way, if I'm having a problem with dealing with it. The trouble is, if you have a loss, you know what it's like. You got that feeling, then you're trying to play catch up, and that can affect your next trade, and often does. So sometimes it's best off to have a clear night and come back. But I got the option to trade and evaluation as well if need be. But what I think I'll do is if I've only got a PA at the time, I'll switch straight onto a sim. Because what I don't want to do is finish the stream and then think about trading again. So I think the sensible thing is swap straight onto a sim and give yourself time to sort of simmer down and relax. So there you go. So let's see how we go on. It's a bit of an odd start. It's almost like there was news there, but I've got nothing on my chart. I don't know whether you guys know anything about any news, but I mean, it's nice and calm there, isn't it? And all of a sudden we had that quick two pushes up. From here, I mean, it almost went parabolic, didn't it, really, from there? 23.33, I mean, it just went woof straight up. I mean, normally something like that, you would think news, wouldn't you? But revised CPI shot the market up 20 points. See, I've got nothing on my chart. I don't know why. What time was it? 1:30. That's strange. Why have I got nothing on my chart? That is strange. You can't risk 2 contracts, which is no, you can't really. Not without. The trouble is, I mean, you know, I took a trade the other day. You know, I mean, bars can, at the moment, it's not too bad. The average bar with a tick above and below will be about 275 points. But it can be 4 points. And nothing on my charts for news either. No, strange. I mean, this is really accurate. But it does look like the news. Or is it just 2 legs? It's hard to say, really. I'm doing 2 contracts on evil, but 1. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm doing 4 on an evaluation at the moment. We'll see anyway. I don't mind risking a bit more, but I think 1 contract's about right. $2,500. So what's that? That's $25 is 1%. So 5% is $125, which is somewhere around. So it's somewhere around about a 5-point risk, which I think is acceptable. But the trouble is, I mean, if you can handle the heat that comes with it, you know, if you're way past the psychological effect, then, you know, you could trade 2 contracts. You've still got to lose about 7 or 8 trades in a row. In all fairness, I've never done that. I don't even think I lost 7 trades in a row when I was more or less just starting out. Surely pure out of dumb luck, you think you'd, you know, so... But the trouble is, because it has a psychological effect on you, you don't tend to stick to the 2 contracts and you don't tend to stick to the rules. Usually you'll take something a lot more risky, and in a lot of cases, especially with me, you'll up the contract size. So, you know, don't get me wrong, I'd love to trade 2 contracts. It would get you up bigger. But, you know, if losses are still affecting you, which they are for me, it just doesn't make any sense, really. There's no point in doing the same thing day in and day out and, you know, as saying and expecting a different outcome. So it's a bit of an odd day so far. Tilt doesn't care what's... Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I didn't go on tilt still, then I probably would trade 2 contracts. Because as I say, you've still got to lose 7 trades in a row. And you know, with high probability trades and max system, you shouldn't be doing that anyway. But unfortunately, it's the psychological side that causes the problem. Yeah, so... but it makes sense. If you're struggling with it, you've just got to reduce the stress. Otherwise, you know, you're fighting a losing battle. So what is going on here? Is this a bigger channel? It may be, and that might be an overshoot. And the reason I say that is because it kind of looks okay. Let's have a look. Or does it? Oh, it's hard to say, really. Maybe there's a spike in channel. I don't know. It's not that clear, really, is it? It's up. I think it's probably safe to assume. Maybe, I don't know, maybe something like that. In which case we've had a break. So let's just keep an eye on that. We should get 3 losses on a contract. It's tilt time. I don't even need to get 3 losses, mate. One bad one for me tends to send me off. So it makes sense. You know, I can't keep battling away. You know, I mean, if I had 7,500, if I had 3 times the drawdown, then yeah, it wouldn't seem as bad. But you know, that trade I lost the other day, which was 4 points, because I was on a PA and I built up, I lost 30% of my pot, which is just too much to lose in one trade. It's very hard to come back from that, unless you're very experienced and you've been doing this for years, and the psychological side, you know, doesn't have much of an effect on you. But failing that, anyway, no much US 4Q core CPI. Was it a medium impact news? Was it, bud? Let me have a look on Forex Factory. Because usually I only really... No, it can't have been because it would have been up there. I only really bother with high impact news. And US specifically, yeah, I've got no US news today. There's nothing showing on my chart here. Friday, there's nothing. Unless there's, let's have a look. Oh, that's, hold on a minute, that's Forex. Let's have a look. No, what I'm looking for. Let's just get this out of the way, mate. Okay, so this looks like an overshoot, so we could push up. There's a bit of a double bottom there. So I think there's a chance that could push up. It's just still risky for me. It's sideways. US core CPI. I've got that on the 13th. Oh, I can't see anything. No, I can't see anything. Time consolidation for 2 days. Yeah, the pot was coming, absolutely. We do seem to be making consistent highs, don't we? So let's have a look here. In all fairness, depends how you've got that channel, but I think we touched here. See, if it's a tighter channel there, we've already had a break and a new low, in which case we could go up. If you do like that channel, we've got an overshoot, in which case it could go up. But at the moment, it's a little bit sideways, so it depends how traders read this. Hard to say. Sit tight. Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. Hey, Rodian, how you doing, bud? Cute tree. I only look at US news. Yeah, I only look. Yeah, it might be something else. Might call CPI. Isn't that just US news anyway? I don't know. Yeah. So double bounce, higher low. Still a bit risky because you might go long. It might trigger and come back down. But if this is an overshoot, I mean, we could go up. But do you really want to take that? And the reason I possibly don't is because at the moment we're under the EMA on the NQ, so but we might have had a break, and so I got a bit mixed feelings about this. So it's not very clear because it could trigger you and then come down. So sit tight time because there is some support there. You can see that. So this could stitch you up. So best form of action for me is just to sit tight. I mean, it could go up. We could have a leg and a leg. We could start to move up after the overshoot. But we haven't hit these bottoms yet, overnight lows. So, I mean, it could come down. Depends how you draw this, in all honesty. I'm just going to start my weekend now. Have a nice... Yeah, you too, buddy. It's off range highs over the past 3 days. Yeah. Yeah, you can class the range highs as somewhere around about here, can't you? Okay, there is a failure there, but same again, it's a bit dangerous because on the NQ we're still under the EMA. I've got to bring that in, really. It could do. I see that bar there. Actually, there is a second entry short there, but it's just congested, and there is, I would say, personally, that. See, if you take it up to there, you miss the top. So it's hard to say. That might be in. It's hard to say, but I'm going to assume we've already had a break in a new low, and it looks like that bearish bar that's triggered is probably going to get stopped out. Having said that, we're still under the EMA. We've made matching highs there, so this still could come down. So so it's possible we could do something like that. Yeah, it's just set my hands at the minute. Actually, there is a failure there, which trapped that short. Trouble is, yeah, it's just a bit too early here to figure out what's going on because we haven't hit these lows, so we could have a... it could sort of make another attempt to go down. Depends how you look at this. Depends how you've read that. It's not the clearest of channels. There could be two channels there. There could be one bigger one on a break. It's not the clearest of... I mean, it's looking like it's making an attempt to go up. Same here. But it's still risky. Well, it was a good call, some of you guys telling me about Suits. I'd never really watched it before, and I've got to say, that flipping Dom, woof, she is stunning. It's just something about her. Or am I weird? I much prefer that Donna than, what's her name? Harry's wife. Rachel, rather. I should know that name. It's my wife's name. Yeah, I much prefer Donna to Rachel. Start calling you Harvey. Lewis used to get on my nerves, actually. I kind of like him now because he's quite comical, isn't he? He's quite comical. Especially when he got a bit of ink on his lip. And she got him to rub his lip and then do that. What was that? Rotator cuff injury. So he looked like he was Hitler doing the salute. Are we going up? It's hard to say at the moment. It looks like we are. See, there's the failure there. So we got a new low again. So you just don't know. We could get a lower high and it may come down here. It's possible. I don't think I'd take that. See if you're looking at this from a penguin perspective, we got a leg down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, failure. If that pushes strong through the internet, I think, if that pushes strongly through the EMA, I know I'd start to lose it at some point. If that pushes strongly through the EMA, then there is a possibility that can come down, but that's looking bullish at the moment. So yes, it's just too dangerous to trade this. It could come down and sting you. See, channel break, new low. So that does look like it's starting to not look like two legs. It's starting to look like a bit of a trend, but it is going up quite steep. So I'd expect a break at some point. So whether we sort of have a leg, a bit of sideways and another leg, and then it starts to work down, or whether we just get a break and then we end up getting a wider channel going up. I'm not really sure at the moment. Look at that. So if you got in there, that's why it's way too dangerous to trade that. It does look like it's going up, but trouble is, when I always have this feeling when it's struggling to get up, and it looks like it's sucking some longs in, but weak positions. I often get the feeling it's going to do that. I didn't there, but there we go. Hey, Andy, how you doing, bud? But yeah, it took out those positions. So that one, if it is going up, I think is quite a strong position. So whether it'll come and take that down or not, I don't know. But as I say, one thing I notice is if you do get a strong, long position, a nice bar that's sitting nice, usually it might flush down a couple of these weaker positions here, but a lot of the times that stop does hold. So whether it will or not, I don't know. But at the moment, we've had a break from this, a new low, so it does look like it's going up, but I would expect a break at some point. So there is a second entry long there, but it's an inside bar and it's still a bit congested. So yes, there's nothing you can do here really. See, on the daily, we've gone very close to that top of that channel, and this is coming down now. We've had that little push up this morning, made a new high, and then we've had quite a strong pullback. So we don't know whether we're going to come back a bit more, maybe retest this part of it. So we could have, a quite sizey dump today. We had that quick push up, clearly made new highs by a mile. I mean, it didn't seem a few days ago we were below this 5,000 level, but we're comfortably into it now. So yeah, I think this is coming down. We got this leg down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, failure. I think this is coming down. Maybe retest these lows. 10,000 tick chart looks like going to go down. Yeah. Sean Wong, are you a new face? Have we spoke before? I don't think we have. Where are you from, bud? Yes, we have. Okay. Malaysia. Oh, excellent. Fantastic. Malaysia. Beautiful. This does look like it's coming down. So, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if we have a drop, especially when that bar on the daily got very close to that top. So what I want to do is get below the EMA there, maybe a second entry long there, something like that, looking like it's coming down. And then maybe I can look for a short, but I've got to remember there's this level down here as well. Can't do anything here at the moment. So okay, this is starting to look promising. Oil's trending strong at the moment. Yeah, I've just got the 10,000 tick chart up now. We have had that big strong push down. Maybe this is just a... In fact, just looking at this, it almost looks like we're forming a triple test here. We've come down, we've gone up once, twice, three times. If that finishes bearish, we could get another good push down. On the NQ, we've had this push up, break new high. So depending on how this is, you could certainly look at that as a triple test. 1, 2, 3. Depends what this does. That's the 10,000 tick chart. That. Oh, going in a completely different direction. Yeah, they are a bit, aren't they? They're sort of similar in a way. We've had this channel down. We've had two pushes up. We've had the same. We've had this channel down. We've had two pushes up. So it's just obviously a little bit more dramatic here, isn't it? This is just clearly in a tight range at the moment, so there's not really much we can do in here till we get out of it. It kind of looks like a sort of a bull flag, but with a short pole, really, doesn't it? So this looks like it's pushing up for this measured move, maybe even a bit higher. So there's always a possibility we could do something like that. Do you have the NQ open? One whole screen. Well, no, I don't. I've just got it there. I have it above my head usually, but then I keep bringing it in and out and in and out because I like to just sort of have a quick glance. I mean, I've got 4 screens. I could put it on a screen above. But we sort of seem to be doing this, so it's. I mean, I can put it on a screen above, but if I'm talking about what I tend to talk about what I'm thinking. And if I'm talking about the ES, it's useful just to sort of see it. But no, I haven't got on separate screens now. I like to see them both at the same time. So we've hit that measured move, and we've about hit that. Okay, right to the tick, we've hit that measured move. So it'd be interesting to see what happens now. We're well above it there and here. So are we going to get rejected here? Or are we off on a different direction now? See, we're quite a distance from the EMA and here, so I kind of expect a bit of a pullback and maybe retest this area. Whether it happens or not, who knows, but there is an overshoot, and as we know, overshoots can result in reversals, and that may be the start of one. It's a bit of an odd looking chart, isn't it, initially? It's a bit strange. So is this fade back? If we can get a lower high here, that might be an option to come back. It's hard to say. Make sure I'm not coming back into something. Okay. Unfortunately, there was nothing to bring us back. We're sort of doing the same, really. We're just covering a little bit more ground on here. Okay, so I wouldn't want to take that long, so I won't be shocked if that long triggers and comes down. Trouble is, can't be looking to go short at the moment while we're above the EMA here. Not that it won't come down. But there's two things I want to see. A good setup here and similar sort of position here. Okay, let's get rid of that. Okay, so touch. Excuse me, just a second. Okay, so if that is in that channel, so I would expect this is an overshoot, which kind of looks like it to come down, leg and a leg. But I just can't get involved here until that's below the EMA. It's just not very clear at the moment. There is an overshoot here. Well, it looks like an overshoot, so we could sort of have a couple of pushes, come down and retest it for a second time and work our way up. So there may be a wider channel there. I just don't know at the minute. So we've had an overshoot, we've had a push up, made one attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower, and it fails with a big strong bar, and off we go. So that is a possibility. Trouble is, depends how you draw that. That looks like an overshoot, so we could just correct and go higher. So I don't know. I certainly don't want to go long here at the moment because there's a failure there. I mean, it could just have a quick drop here because what looks like this overshoot. So this to me looks like it's sucking in poor entries. I don't know whether you take that one or that one. I mean, technically it is a failure. There's a first entry. We come all the way around. There's our failure, but I wouldn't want to go long there until I got a better idea what the hell's going on, because we've had a push down, 2 attempts to go high, and it's finished quite bearish. So, I mean, that could just drop. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if it did. That looks like it's poised for a drop to me. So any longs there, I think, are in trouble. Just looks a bit too odd to me. I mean, it could just be a correction. Could continue on up. I mean, it's strong off there, and there is a higher low there. God, that's tempting. It's very tempting, but the trouble is we've got 3. It's hit. I just don't know. That looks like an overshoot to me, in which case it could trigger that and drop. So I'm staying out here. It's a bit congested. It is kind of a nice higher low, and it may work, but I don't like this. Something about it I don't like. And this as well, because of that overshoot and a big pullback. I wouldn't go long on this chart. Not a chance. That one I would. But I've got conflicting pictures, so it hasn't triggered yet anyway. So, but I don't know. It's a bit congested here, so it's just a bit too early. Let's see if this does trigger. I still ain't taking it. I mean, it might work, but it's very congested here. I just don't like what I'm seeing here, and I'm concerned about this. It is congested. It's not pushed further away. My bars. Oh, I haven't reloaded my historic. Sorry about that, mate. I just don't like this. It's just not looking strong enough for me. The picture just doesn't look. Just doesn't look very good to me. Okay. This I don't like. It could drop quickly. Does look like it's working, but we're so far from the EMA here. Okay, so yet I've got a point there because it's got to push through. This is a bit of it's a strong push up. A lot of times when we have an overshoot, we'll come back, we'll push up, make an attempt to go higher, and then drop quickly. So I don't like this. I mean, there's always a possibility that you could just look at that and say there's a channel there, and there's a break, and we're going to make a new high, but I just don't like it. Okay, there is a second entry short here, which is triggered. I still don't like what I'm seeing. No, I'm not keen on this. This just looks like it's struggling a bit after that big push. It might work, it might not, but to me it's hit and miss. Your guess is as good as mine. It looks like it's struggling. So if you took that, went one tick above there, you'd have squeezed a point out of that. But that coming towards me, that's not very encouraging. Yeah, if you're in that trade, this isn't where you want to get into a break. I'm not even convinced that really is a channel. Let's just get rid of it for a minute. It may just be like 2 pushes up. Okay, is that going to hold? I mean, if that's a channel, it's a higher low. It's not terrible looking trade. I would much prefer that further back here. But I just don't like any of this. It's congested. It's just looking a bit not pretty. So 2 legs back. What's going to happen here? We're going to trigger and then come down, or what? Because that does look like an overshoot, and the way it's attempted to push high and dropped, it's just not a nice picture. Okay, so it went straight through there, and it had a little bit of a stab down, which tells me there'd have been some stops there. So you'd have squeezed a point at that, so it's just not worth it for me. I just don't like it. I would much prefer the bottom of that bar to be sat on top of that EMA, then I may consider it. But I don't like it. It's a bit sideways, it's a bit choppy. It's not clear, so for me, best thing to do is just to sit tight and stay out of it all. So that bullish bar off there is just triggered. So let's see if that comes down or whether it moves from there. Yeah, this looks like it's struggling to get up. It's a messy start. I'd have preferred yesterday, in all fairness. I know it was choppy, but there were some good setups, which doesn't often happen. When you look at a day like that, you know, if that flashed in front of your eyes and you said, you know, click here if you want to trade this, you'd run a mile, wouldn't you? But actually, I thought it was quite a nice day. Those trades I took, Matt marked them. I loved them. I thought that was an absolute beauty. Nice push up. Second entry long off the perfect takeoff place there. And that one as well. I love that one. And that one, the lower high there. Really nice trades in a short period of time, considering, you know, we can get them, can't you? You can't get trades. But although it's in a very short top to bottom, it's still sort of relatively flowing reasonably okay. There's not too many areas of chop. It's still moving quite nice. Okay, so we had an overshoot here. We had a break. 2 attempts to go higher, so maybe there's a wider channel going up here. This seems to be continuing to try and push higher, so maybe there's something like that. Possibly push up to the top a little bit sideways. It kind of fits there as well. Let's get rid of some of this, clean up a bit. Trouble is we're at the highs here. Not quite actually. So there is distance this could go. DAX, massive sell-off, really. Let's see what happens then. I don't like this. This to me, it fits really nice there, perfect there, perfect. The bottom fits beautifully. Now, there's touches here, there's touches here, there's touches here. That just doesn't make sense to me. So a lot of time we see it, we'll get an overshoot and sometimes it'll break straight away. Other times it'll push up, make a new high and then tank. So it'd be interesting to see if it gets up to this level, what it does then. I wouldn't be surprised if we do come down relatively rapidly. And if you're saying the DAX is dropping, then I think there's a fair chance this could affect this as well. So we've had one push up, second push up. 2 attempts to go higher. It could come careering down. Who knows? Let's have a little look. Another overshoot. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a ton of sell orders up here. I don't know if anybody's got bookmap on. Okay, let's see what happens here. So we've hit that same level, not quite as high, but we've sort of closed around the same area. So let's see what happens now. See, we are range here, but price is still holding MA, so I wouldn't even want to attempt to sell that. Although I don't think it's a bad place to sell it based on what I'm seeing here. But it almost looks like it's trying to work up, so I tend to avoid the tops and bottoms because I'm crap at them. Okay, are we getting a whole lie? A high low? Okay, there is a lower high there. No weakness on the NDX. Yeah. What is the NDX? Okay, there is a lower high there, so oh, the Nasdaq. Oh, okay. Okay, are we coming down here? Maybe we get a second entry short, which touches here and comes down. I'm not even sure what's going on here. It's just not very clear. I don't even think if I open that out, it fits anywhere. It just doesn't look right. It may do, I don't know, but we've hit this level and we've come down a bit and we're having another go, so God knows. It doesn't look ideal, but it's probably the best I got at the moment. It is making multiple attempts to push higher. Let's see what happens here. There was a lower high there, but I don't think it was triggered. Okay, so maybe once, twice, three times to push up. It's sort of a second entry short there, but it is congested. Obviously, the more times it tries to go up, the less chance it's got. So it may just have a bit of a drop. But where to? If it comes down here, it's not got far to go. So I don't know how I'd feel about getting a short there. It's just too choppy on here. I mean, it is struggling to get up, but it may just come back and get another run up from here. It could smash through it, really. I thought yesterday was easier so far. Okay, so possible second entry shorts. We've got a channel down, leg up, leg up. Let's see what happens here. If we can get some sell orders above here, then we may get a quick drop. Several attempts to go short to range. Yeah. I'm hoping there are some sell orders a little bit further up somewhere. Let's see if it hits any of them. Sometimes we hit them and then we'll have a quick drop. So second entry short, we've come down and hit this level. $70 points up from 240 GM. Yeah. We are finding this resistance again. Interesting. I just can't go long here, not with the up at the highs here. I'm not saying it can't push up, but trouble is when it hits this once and it's come down, we've hit it again and come down. Your guess is as good as mine, but I think it's got more chance of coming down than going up. So the last thing I want to do is think about getting into a trade at the moment. Let's see if we can hit a level where we drop. Too late to enter. You can't trade this anyway, really. It's just, at least yesterday we had nice patterns, but this, it almost looks like random, doesn't it? It just almost looks like you're throwing paint at a board. Whereas yesterday, it was actually a lot clearer. It was quite smooth. We had nice channels up, leg down, leg down, leg down, leg down. It was still quite clear. We had a nice leg up, lovely second entry long there. We came down here, had two pushes up, nice second entry short, right at the level where you want it. So it was actually quite smooth, although it was in a very tight range. But at the moment, it's just flipping bouncing all over the place, and it really could go either way. I mean, we're getting close to the highs today's highs. So could it go through it? It could do. Could it drop and come back? It could, but it's a bit hit and miss. I didn't think it would get that high after that strong push. Okay, so there's a new high of the day. So let's see what happens now. See if that reacts. Okay, so every time we come up here, we've pushed down. So is that a place that you'd sell? Maybe. If that ended up bearish, I don't think it'd be a bad place, but I just tend to not pick these because I'm useless at them in all fairness. I trade it on valuation. But the trouble is, I've got all these linked together with Replicanto, so by the time I fanny around switching over, it'll be done. Valuation, I'd take that short, but not PA. I'm not confident in my ability to trade tops, especially without doing that. That's why I don't do them. I mean, we've hit the top here, we've come down. We've hit the top here, we've come down. We've hit the top here, we've come down. The one time I get in, triggers you, stops you out. Does anybody find out that just seems to work that way? It happens 3 or 4 times, and you think next time I'll get it. And as soon as it goes short next time, it triggers you, stops you out. Yeah, it's not convincing enough. And the thing is, we're quite high on this. Now, it could obviously continue on up. It certainly could do, but I just don't know. This is just a little bit too messy for me to be confident that there's something there. Push up sideways, but it's this bit. I know we tend, in channels you'll push up a lot of times, work sideways in a fashion, then you'll come to here, we'll push up, work sideways. But this is messy. The whole day is just odd. That weird push up and then that big sell off, and then it's odd. It looks like there's been a lot of news, doesn't it? But there hasn't. On none of my chart. This is just, it's strange, isn't it? We have a nice sort of, steady, just sort of grind up, and then 2 quick pushes, and then a big sell-off. It kind of does look like it's working, but I don't, when it's doing something like this, I'd want it to start working up this line before I get in, because if I've got it wrong, it can stuff you, and I'm not sure it's right at the moment. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe it is. Still not a massive lover of it. Let's have a bit of a closer look. I got no idea. No idea. Convinced of a channel at me. Yeah, I can't get it to anywhere. The only reason I'm trying to make it fit, because this looks like there's one, and on the 10,000 there does, but it's just, I can't really get it to fit how I'd like to. I mean, I'd like it to fit something like that. But we got this bit, which we can't seem to do anything with, so it might be best just to bin it for now. Push up sideways, push up sideways. I mean, if it is a channel, at least we know then if it is, it's maybe likely to be working up. And maybe we just go from here. I thought this was going to struggle, so I think it's likely that is a bigger channel now. You're unable to trade ranges. Yeah, they're harder anyway, really. Ranges are. Mind you, having said that, that was probably one of the nicest ranges I've seen in a long time because it is still running quite smooth. There are still nice little channels there and nice trends. It was one of the cleanest ranges I've seen. I mean, usually, like Max says, in ranges, you just short the top by the bottom, but it's not always that simple. But there were some nice setups. 50% fib on a downtrend. This is just unusual, isn't it? These are the days you just really can't make head nor tail of what the hell's going on. It does seem to be going up in a fashion, but it's not the neatest, is it? And the trouble is, if you don't get it right, it can cause you some problems. Sometimes if you squeeze it, it makes things a bit easier. I think that's out. I think that's too shallow, I think. Or is it? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's somewhere near. Actually, in all fairness, it's probably the best we got at the moment. It's not terrible. Let's see how we get on. I mean, this is going up. I think it's quite likely this is as well. It's clearly going up. Okay, I mean, it is going up, and we're at the top. If it is a channel, we're at the top anyway, so you can't trade here. So I'm going to take advantage of a quick 5-minute break. I'm going to go and make myself a cup of tea while it's doing this, because it's just it's a bit of a odd day ball late today, isn't it? But it does happen sometimes. So let's just pop that on the screen, and I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Right, I didn't miss much. Okay, so it does seem to be getting a bit of consistency up here, so that's a good start. Reel that in a bit. Yeah, it's fitting very nice on the top, so we've got a touch, nice on the top, so I think that's about as good as we've got at the moment. NQ does seem to be continuing on up. I would expect a break at some point. That looks like 2 legs to me. Oh, okay, we're not far off a couple of legs up there, so. Okay, possible second entry long. There's no way I'm going long into this lot. Not that it's not going to work, but too far from the EMA. Way too far from the EMA for me, although it is a second entry long if it works, but I'm staying well away from that. It's got risk written all over it personally. No room to the highs anyway. That's a 10,000 tick chart at the moment, so it does. I think it's safe to say it's working in the channel here. Working in a channel there. And I think that's okay. It's a bit messy, but I think it's probably somewhere right. I would say not the best place to go long, so close to the top, right at the highs. I think we're at the highs of the day, yeah, so you get a bit of a pullback here, right towards the top of here as well. Okay, big bearish bar there. Second entry short. Probably not the worst place to go short, but the trouble is we're in a bit of an uptrend, so couldn't bring myself to do it if I wanted to. Oddest day we've had for a while, I think. See, Wilson's stopped doing videos now, hasn't he? I noticed he put a little note out. I think he's still doing his live streaming, but he's not taking on extra people. He's changed his trading a bit, hasn't he? Well, he's still in the same trading, but he's going for a lot bigger points, which is great if you can make the points. But there's so much more stress. I saw a trade he was in for about an hour and a quarter. I think I'd have been pulling my hair out. But he stopped. I think he stopped posting videos. I'm not sure why he stopped posting videos. I get stopping streaming. But I hope he's okay. I think losing those 20 accounts hurt him, and rightly so. At least he got $11,000 out, so At least he got something out of it, which should more than cover cost to get back in and some. But I don't know whether he's finding it difficult to stream. See, he's never streamed before. He's only ever put videos. I've never done it any other way. So I wish him well. It's not easy trading, is it? It is a tough business, especially in the early years. Until you start to get some experience, at least, you know, the more you've been doing it, the longer you get a bit longer in the tooth then, don't you? You understand a little bit more how it can get to you. I definitely believe it filters out over time. It bothers you less and less. Makes perfect. It's common sense it would. But it is obviously so much about risk management. You're risking too much. You've got too much stress. Makes sense. Okay, push up sideways, push up sideways, push up sideways. So we are making it a messy channel, but I think it's a channel nonetheless. So we've come up close to this measured move. Yeah, see, that's the bar I said I wouldn't take. So close to the top, so I can't see you know, you'd want to be out there, surely, wouldn't you? So I expected a pullback. Let's see what it does at this line, whether sometimes it'll pull back and have another run up. I don't think it's going to be long before it has a break. Anybody know what's happened to Moo? He seems to have disappeared off the face of the planet. He just seems to have disappeared. Moo. I don't know. I just know him as Moo Trades, I think. Young lad. I know he does doesn't he do a lot of running as well, so I don't know whether he's away a bit, but I've heard sight and sound of him for weeks. It's got to be 2 weeks at least, hasn't it? Moo Trades. Well, let's find this thingy. Where are you? Can't find it now. Moo Trades. Yeah, his last video was 2 weeks ago. Strange. Said a word, has he? Yeah, that's him there, if anybody doesn't know. Nice lad. But it's, I think, 2 weeks ago was his last video. I think he was having the same problems we all have. He stopped. Yeah, he stopped a while ago. I don't quite know why. He's a nice lad, actually. I know he's a very keen athlete, isn't he? He's very much into, I think it's his cross country, or he's into running or something. He does travel around a bit, so whether he's I don't know whether it's the season for it or not. I don't know. Maybe that's it. It's just nice to have different aspects, isn't it? See, I watch him usually, see how he's got on. I watch Sam, although Sam's taking a break. Wilson as well, and Mac, and who's the other guy? Thomas Wade, and Bart as well. He's another nice guy, Bart Fly. He trades similar but slightly different to us. He's another nice guy. I've chatted to him a few times as well. In fact, I've chatted to most of our streamers. They're all nice guys. That's the beauty about trading. There's no real competition because, it's not like, your business is affecting mine. I trade with Hunter. Do you know if Black Bay is trading? I haven't seen anything of him either. Trade with Hunter. Are you a trader or you're a streamer? I recognise your little logo there. Your name rings a bell, does it? Let's have a look. I am, yeah. Yeah, I thought I'd seen your. What are you under? Trade with Hunter? What are you under? Who are we talking about? Oh, Black Bay. Let's have a look. Let's find out what he's doing. Yeah, I thought I recognised your little icon with the bars going up. Black Bay. Let's have a look. I gotta say, Black Bay, don't know, I've put some hours in. I used to when I started, not so much. Oh, he's streaming now. Yeah, he's streaming now. 5 watching. Yeah. He streamed yesterday. Oh, and then before 8 days ago. Okay, so we just started yesterday. No, 3 days ago. Okay, yes. Strange. I usually when I look on my subscriptions later on in the evening when I find out what people have done, it usually pops up. So are you just under trade with Hunter, are you? I was patch trading for a few months in Thomas Academy. I have watched you a bunch in the past. More recently, I've been learning some new stuff similar to Malaysian. Is that SNR or Malaysian Senior? I still use second entries and stuff. Not refined entries, yeah. I mean, when I've spoken to Mac via email in the past, or through the forum in the past, he does say that you'll learn the basics and then you'll find your own way of doing it. And the trouble is, I think you can't help when you sit in front of the charts day in, day out, you can't help but notice patterns. And if you notice enough of them, you'll start to see other setups and stuff like that. So I think you develop your own style as well. And it is, I mentioned before, it's like when you learn to drive, you don't cross your arms, you do this, you do that, you do everything the right way. And then when you finish, you sort of have your own style of doing it. Market maker stuff that ICT teaches. Flip trend after liquidity purge. Interesting. Yeah, it's nice. That's why I love doing this stream. You never know who you're going to talk to, or how they trade, or where they are, or it is interesting mixing with other traders because ordinarily you'd be stuck in a room by yourself. I mean, trading's got great benefits, freedom, money, but it can be a lonely old business stuck in a room by yourself. So it's kind of nice to be able to hook up with other traders. Okay, so that measured move has played out, I think. Let's have a look. Probably got a fraction. Yeah, it has played out. So now we're going to get a break, or is it just going to continue? In fact, the problem may be a small one there. Yeah, thank you, mate. It's all right. I enjoy it, actually. I think technology amazing. You could be chatting and trading with someone on the other side of the world. So, I can't see a trade today, in all fairness. Was there a lower high I may have looked at earlier? I considered that one, but at the time I wasn't sure what was going on. I mean, it is a higher low, but the trouble is there ain't much room left to the tops. It would have worked for a point, but no more. Failing that, you can't trade that. It's tatty as hell, isn't it? I mean, you may have had a go at that. I don't know. Let me have a look. Maybe once. There's nothing I can see, really. Was there anything there early? Probably not. I hate trading. Got to say, pre-market's so damn slow. Every time I've got in trades, I probably end up getting out for less because they're that slow. It's like being waterboarded, isn't it? Not that I've been waterboarded, but apart from that, I can't really see anything that I may have had a go at. At the time, you just don't know whether we're going to have a couple of attempts higher and then we're going to drop down to these lows. And it's such a messy trend channel. It's hard to have the confidence to sort of, really, when it's doing something like this, ideally you want to be looking to get in here, don't you? I don't know how confident I am getting in this sort of top tier area. So I think at the moment it's just, what you can really do is sit and wait. I'm hoping we get a reaction from this in the way of a decent break. We have been up here 3 times. Once, twice, 3 times. So I'm hoping we get a bit of a break, which may change the course of this thing. Because it's just boring, this, isn't it? I know it's part of the job, but I'm not confident about taking trades right up here because you don't know when it's going to decide to come down to this area. An Alpine trader's having some success. I'm pleased about that. He seems to be had some really nice withdrawals. The only frustrating thing is he won't show you how he trades. He trades the open somehow. So he's obviously got some method for trading. I mean, usually the open obviously starts to sort of flit around and sometimes you get a push. So I'm assuming he's doing something like that. But a few people have asked him and he did say he was concerned that Apex... oh, damn, I thought we had Bill Gates on here now. You just got me all excited. Bill Bates. Hi there, new to the channel. Excellent. UK Future Trade. How long have you been day trading? A little over 3 years. I started, it was early December 3 years ago. So a little over 3 years. Bill Bates. Where are you from, Bill? Oh, Gil. Sorry, my apologies. I thought it was Bill Gates, Gil Bates, unless you've moved those letters around. Where are you from, mate? Where are you from? Gil Bates. I'm assuming that's a made-up thing anyway, I'm assuming. If it's not, I've just insulted you. I do apologise. Yeah, US, okay, yeah. I think most of you guys are. Well, a lot of you guys are. I think we got, I know Rhodians, Australia. Who else? Tech 303, TB 303. Techno. You're not from the US, are you? Let me have a look. We got Rhodian, who is US. Australia. There's someone else who's Australia. I was chatting yesterday. I've gone blank again. Used to make cricket bats in the UK. Is now in Australia. Fake name. We got what's in there? Where are we? 9th floor. Kev, who owns his own island, I think. Or spends most of his time at sea. Okay, so, well, we made that measured leg and we're continuing on up. So, I think the way that's fitting there nice, I'm going to assume that may be a small break. So maybe we'll have a couple of pushes up, but you just can't do nothing here. It's just right at the top. Yeah, it's a bit odd, isn't it? It is clearly working up in some fashion, but it's just, a lot of times when it goes up and it goes sideways back to this level, but it hasn't got back here. You're from Germany. Whereabouts in Germany? I've been to Germany twice. I was very young though. My sister was born in Germany, in Lemgo. Quite a while back. You're from Germany. Interesting. Okay, a little bit of a flicker. Now, are we going to get a break here? I have a feeling we may do. It's flicking around a bit. So I think we'll hit an area. Bavaria. Okay, I got you. Yeah, Lemgo and Munster I've been to. My stepfather was in the army, so we were over there. It was quite a lot. It was a while back, 40 odd years ago, I think, when I was a wee lad. I know Germany. I believe we beat them at football quite often. It doesn't seem to want to stop, does it? It's got to come back. Surely we need a break now. It's gone up long enough. That's a fair old channel, really. I would expect a break and then maybe something a bit wider if it wants to continue on up. I still remember that one game when England won 5-1. I think it's the only time it's ever happened. But I don't think there's a British football fan who'll ever forget that. Really seems to be hugging the top of this. I'm quite surprised. I mean, usually we at these areas, we sort of, we're up here, we get a pullback, we're up here, we get a pullback, we're up here, we're going sideways, but we're having push and another push and another push. I can't see this continuing on for much longer. I think we're hitting some support up here, I think, now. Come on down. we've got to get a break now, surely. Come on. Come on. Okay, here's our break by the looks of things. Whether you could call that one, I think it's possible. Fits really nice up here. In fact, you could probably even squeeze that in a little bit. You may bring that out. Yeah, I mean, it's fitting lovely at the tops, isn't it? Absolutely beautifully. Twice at the bottom, but it's definitely going up, isn't it? It's fit. I mean, I was in an hour a while, but it's clearly working, isn't it? It's working this top tier at the moment, but there's a break here, so whether we get a couple of legs and then we continue on up here, which would be good here. We get a couple of legs back and continue on up. Hopefully, keep us in this channel. It just may be one of those days today. Okay, so we've got a little channel down with a break. Bullish bar there, so it just triggered. What if we come down for another leg? I certainly wouldn't be thinking about going along there at the moment. I mean, we've had what you might call a small break, but it's, I don't know, it's losing momentum, I think, isn't it? It's getting further and further away from this, which tells me we need a reasonable sized break, regardless of whether we continue on up or reverse, but leg down with a break. I wouldn't want to be going along there, so for me, I would expect that to maybe have another go. It's hard to say at the moment because it's just not making, it's not very clear, but well, this is a boring, slow day, isn't it? See, I think it's days like this where it may be worth looking at other charts. I mean, it's clearly going up, but it's just, it's push up, chop, push up, chop, push up, chop, push up, chop. There's no sort of fluidity of it, really. It's just scrappily working up, isn't it? Okay, for me, this is coming down. If you didn't buy that, it's almost thrown you in another teaser. Oh, you missed this one. Jump in, follow me, follow me. And you decide to get in and it triggers you. So I think now this is going to come down. Just like one of those sort of setups. You do see them a lot. Big bullish bar. You may be a bit unsure about going along there, so you get another one which looks like it's starting to work, and then all of a sudden that triggers. It's just not clear, so it could even start to go sideways there. I don't know. It could go up, down, whatever. I've got no idea really. Your guess is as good as mine. Maybe a higher low. Push up some more. There is a second entry long there. Trouble is we got a leg down and a bit of sideways. So I wouldn't be surprised if we had another leg down. Come on, let's have our drop. Okay, I expect another leg down here. It looks like it's starting. That one gets round to somewhere around about here. Are we going to continue? We're certainly not seem to be losing momentum. We're continuing to push up higher, aren't we? We're just hitting this line here, so we have a leg and a leg. That'll get stopped out, I'm pretty sure of it. Okay, right to the tick. So, leg, leg. Let's see what happens now. Are we going to continue up with something wider? Could be a leg up, 2 legs of correction, and then continuation on up. Who knows? Let's see what happens. Okay, right where we want it to be. Okay, 2 legs back. Let's see what happens here. It's actually fitted in there quite nice. Second entry long. I just don't know how I feel about this. This looks like a small break with 2 pushes up to a new high. Retested it, try to go higher again. I mean, it could come down. I really don't know here, so I don't want to be getting into a long just yet. Leg and a leg. Who knows? And we've triggered above that bullish bar there, so I got no idea what this is going to do. Whether that is a break or not, I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I kind of think it is because we've touched once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6. We've touched beautifully there. So it's hard to say. No, we've had 2 legs down. I mean, if I was going to go long off here, I wouldn't do it on that bar. I'd want it to be sitting on top of that, the body, really. So it could go up, could come down. Not convinced that is a break. It's hard to say. So if it's not a break, we could have a couple of legs down, a push up. If we can get a higher low here, then I don't mind looking for a higher low here, but I'm a bit unsure about that break. I mean these charts aren't sort of tick perfect. Just for now, let's leave it. Let's put it back and assume that it could be so. I certainly don't want to be going long down here. Not that I'm trading this anyway, but I want to know which direction this is going in before I think about taking trades off this bottom level of this. It's fitting really nice, actually. It looked quite messy initially, but the way that's come back and touch there, we got to touch. It's fitting really nice there, beautifully there, and we've come down and wham, bounced off there. So I mean, this could come down, it could break these levels. So I mean, at the moment, just talking about this chart, we've got 2 nice legs down. We've bounced a couple of times here, pushed up again. As long as we don't break below there, I think we may be okay to take long, but I just got no idea at the moment. I don't know whether that's a break, in which case we've pushed up, made 2 highs, pushed 2 pushes up, made new highs, and then by another tick, and we made another effort and drop. So it really depends what happens along here, really, whether we decide that if this is going up, we can look for longs. But I just don't know what's going on at the moment. It's just one of these days. It just seems like a pretty slow day today. We had that unusual sort of start. It's quite a strong push up followed by a big drop. No real reason I can't see. There was nothing in the news. So why it did it, who knows? And we just seem to be having a slow grind up, which is I don't know. So Let's put that like that. A little channel and a break and a new low. This is starting to put me to sleep, this is. See, depending on what you think about that, we could have 1, 2, and 3 bounces. Maybe not now. Okay, so leg, break, leg. Okay. Let's go. So this looks like a break. We need to wait for a high low above the EMA really, because you just never know. Could come up here, retest this area and go down. No idea, not a clue, not a Scooby-Doo. Okay, so see if we can get a higher low up here. So we got a channel break, new low. Okay, so we got another channel down. We got a break. Well, looks like a break. 2 push up to new high. Another retest. This looks like a little channel, so I don't want to be going long here. This looks like it may come down. May come down short. You can get trapped around here. I used to. Not so much now. I tend to be aware of it, but you're thinking, oh, here we go, new high, and then what it does, it triggers you and then comes down and makes a new low. So at the moment, I'm going to sit tight. It's all right. I'm just browsing through what's it at the moment, Amazon, looking for a new bottle of whiskey. Mine's coming to an end. I got a 10-year-old bottle of Lacheg that's just got a little bit left in it, so I want a new one for the weekend. Glenlivet tastes a lot like bourbon, don't you think? It's one of my favourite whiskies, the Glenlivet. I've had most of them. Well, the 15-year French oak I haven't. You like Jack Daniels, do you? Like a bourbon. I've had the Caribbean Reserve. I've had the Founders Reserve, and I love the 12-year-old. I've had about 4 or 5 bottles of the 12-year-old. Ren, first time view. You're very welcome. Tastes like JG. Yeah, there is a certain amount of sweetness to the Glenlivet. They're a really easy drink, they are, especially if you're relatively new to whiskey. I love the... I've had a couple of bottles of the Caribbean Reserve. Not a massive fan of the blue label one, which is the Founders Reserve, but the green label one, which is the 12-year-old, I love. There is a 15-year-old French oak, which I haven't tried yet. But the Glenlivet's a really easy drinking. There's a Lagavulin, which is a heavily peated one, which I want, but I just don't want to spend £75 at the moment. They have good offers on that one. It's one of the heavily peated whiskies. I think that's from Islay, I reckon. Yeah, it is Islay. I do like the peated ones. But They're really easy drinking. Are the Glenlivets. Yeah, there's one with a couple of glasses, but the 12-year-old green label is really nice. They were on offer at our local supermarket before Christmas for £20 a bottle, and I bought 2 of them. Should have bought more of them now. There's the blue label one, the Founders Reserve. Not a massive fan of that one. I've had multiple ones of these. The Lefroy ones, same again, Peter's ones. I've had a couple of bottles of that. I've had the 12-year-old version of that. I've had a couple of bottles of the Aberlour, a bottle of the Bunharben. It's cask strength, that one, non-chill filtered. One of my favourites, the Aberlours. Tamnavulin I've not had that one. That's a cask strength one. Price just jumps up dramatically. I'm looking for an offer on the Glenfiddich. The Dalmores I've never had. Balvenie, I've had the 12-year-old double wood Balvenie. One of the Arons I've never had. I've been looking for one of those lately. Highland Park I've never had. None of the black label or blue labels. I've had a Woodford Reserve, which is a bourbon. But the Glenlivet, that's one of the nicest ones. It's quite a lot of... Oh, it's a special edition one. I'm going to say it's overpriced, that one, a bit at the moment. But I've had the 14-year-old Jura. The Talisker I've had. The Deanston I've had. I've got the Lechaig 10-year-old at the moment. But that's nearly empty, so I want a new one for the weekend. So I might finish that one off tonight. And I suggest trying a Japanese whiskey. Yeah, I know the Japanese make whiskey, don't they? I've never tried them, actually. Yeah. There is some nice whiskies out there. There's the Caribbean Reserve. That's quite sweet, that one is. I've had a couple of bottles of those. A couple of bottles of that. Now that's more tastes like bourbon. It's quite sweet. It's actually in a rum. It's cast in a rum barrel. So it gives it that sort of, I don't know, sort of Caribbean-y, slightly sweet feel to it. That's another one I like as well. The Ben Rack, the 10-year-old. I've had that as well. I've never had any of the Johnny Walkers. I know a lot of US guys tend to like the black and the blue label. But there is some really good whiskies out there. That's one I want to try at some point. Coconut. Wow. Yeah, that's the one I want to try next. The French Oak. Never tried that one. I don't really like spending £50 on a bottle. I like the 35 mark, really. But you do get some great sales. A lot of times you'll get like a third off. It's called Hibiki. I know there's that one. There's a Japanese one there. But yeah, I've heard a couple of people say they've had it and quite liked it. I am looking for a... is it the Tobermory? It's a 10 or 12-year-old Tobermory that I've been on the lookout for. I can't find. Some of them are quite hard to get now. You can invest in whiskey. You can buy a barrel as an investment. That's another one of my favourites, the Ardbeg 10. Where's that? Where was it? The Ardbeg 10. Where'd you go? That's the 5-year-old Wee Beastie, but the Ardbeg 10's another favourite of mine. That is intense. I think it's about 46. That's it there. It's about 46% cask strength, non-chill filtered. It's really intense, that. It's strong, that is. I mean, they don't burn my mouth, but that one did a little bit. Yeah, I need to get one. Okay, so that looks like it's pushing up. You could say that's a high or low, but it could just be 2 legs. Leg down. Yeah. I just don't know here. Oh, you're in that, are you there? Yeah, I'm just not sure about this. We're going to channel with a break in a new low. The bit that's confusing me is all this at the moment. You're scared, are you? Yeah, I would prefer that to come. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it when it just goes push up, sideways, push up, because sometimes you just get a mirror image and it does something else. You use the 2 leg strategy. Sort of, yeah. I'll be looking for a little bit of a pullback there, sort of high-low, but I'd prefer one of these to break below there, really. The bit that's put me off at the moment is I just don't like this picture. Sometimes I can't put my finger on it, but I wouldn't be confident in going along there. The trouble is we got quite a distance to the highs here, but we're very close there. So it just looks like it's going to lose a bit of momentum for me. So I just wouldn't be comfortable getting in there. I did consider it for a second, but I pretty much feel like I can just look at something now and go, I either like it or I don't like it. It's not a pat setup, but I don't like this. You got 3 tops here, 3 bottoms. It's just a bit confusing. And I don't know about this. It's just a bit. It's gone a bit messy now, so I couldn't tell you whether it's going to push a lot higher or come right back down to this level. And while I got sort of conflicting pictures, move up pretty far, may correct well. Yeah. I mean, considering it looked messy there, it actually kind of fits in there. Well, it actually fits more at the top, doesn't it, at the bottom? But it is a scrappy day today, isn't it? And when it's like this, really choppy, there's no sort of, it's hard to understand exactly what's happening. It's just literally chopping up and down. So, we've all heard Max say a million times that you just can't trade this stuff. And in all fairness, I haven't seen a trade really. I mean, depending on what you think of this, with the overshoot and the new high, whether you take a lower high or something, but generally as a rule, I don't count trend trade. I've heard Max say, just don't do it so many times, so I tend to not bother. But the way it was hugging this multiple times and we did a new high, I thought there was a good chance we were going to get back to the lows. Like uptrend midline looks good, yeah. But I got no idea what's going to happen now, really. It's a funny old day today. It's an odd-looking chart, isn't it? It's a really odd-looking chart. You're out break even. Yeah, I think you might have made the best decision there, mate, to be honest with you. I think if you got doubts, now, if it goes on to make 2 or 3 or 5 points, okay, all good and well. But if you get out break even, you can guarantee one thing, you ain't going to lose any money. And I just don't like this. It's not filling me full of confidence. Mate, was Mac talking about you last night? He was saying some guy gets caught up in He may well have been talking about me. He may well have done. I think whenever he's got to explain something that doesn't work, I think he brings me into it, I think. Bless him. I wonder when he's going to retire. He has mentioned it a few times, doesn't he? I think it'll be a couple of years. I got to say, I'm glad I found Mac. I'm glad I found Mac. I do 100% believe in his strategy. I mean, when you take your time and you look at the setups and trades properly, price action does make perfect sense. Now, there are times like today when it doesn't, but you just got to stay out of it. But, like yesterday, some of those trades I took, I thought they were absolute beauties. Considering it was a tight range day, it's not the type of day. Those tight range days can be like this. You just can't do nothing. So you got out break even there, so good on you there. I hated that. But I mean, although it was working in a tight range, it was still playing by the rules really well. We got a lovely trend up, 1 leg down, 2 leg down, 1 leg up, 2 leg up. It was playing quite nice. We got 1 leg up. I love that trade. That one there I thought was a corker as well. It came right up to there, pushed above it and came right down. I expected that to get to these levels. And that one as well. We came down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. Love the way it trapped that. It trapped some more longs because there had been people taking the higher low from the bottoms to the tops. It went up one tick, came down. For me, that was a lovely trade. And you don't often get really nice setups when it's like this. But it is. It's quite fluent. It's not really messy as such, although we associate a range sometimes, especially a tight one, with a load of crap. But I mean, look at that. It's all over the bloody place, isn't it? It's tatty. You know what I mean? It looks sort of, it's random, isn't it? There's no sort of plan to it. So we got this leg, we've got to break a new low. So let's see what happens. If we can push above this now and maybe get a new high, then we may get up. But I just don't know at the moment. We've been up here and we've struggled. So I always like to, if I'm going to go long here, I always like to think, just to have a glance at this and think, yes, this looks bullish. And it gives me the confidence to get in then. But if this looking bearish and I'm thinking about taking a long, I kind of like the fact that if it gives me mixed signals, I tend to stay out. And from experience, using this over the last few months, it saved me some trades. And it's also got me into some trades and some winning trades. We had that 2 legs up last week where it didn't quite get to the top of the channel and I wouldn't have taken it. But we had it very similar here and it fitted much better here. So I would have 100% taken it there. So I took it on the ES and it worked perfectly. Mac marked it. And it was one of that downtrend where he actually put his line through a couple of bars. We had that discussion, didn't we? So it's made me some money and it saved me some money. So I think this is win-win for me. I find this more useful than Bookmap, in all honesty. It's just nice to have another perspective. Giving us the same sort of picture, the same sort of direction, but with a slightly different picture. See, at the moment we're above the MO, we're below here, see, so you don't know whether we're just going to... See, that's gone up and had a go to me, so going long here isn't what I would prefer to do just at the minute. I mean, there's always a possibility of something a bit wide, maybe. It would actually fit okay. But the trouble is, even if there is that channel, I want it to come back here a bit further before I think about going long. I mean, if we can get a higher lower, yes. Yeah, I just don't know at the moment. I mean, we've had a break. It could just make a couple of attempts to go higher and then drop. If I don't think we can get higher on here, I wouldn't expect this to go up. Have you had a trade today, have you, Kev? There's nothing I can see here. Larger downtrend. You think it's a bit early, I think that. If you're talking about this. Maybe. Trouble is, we've had a break out of this channel, so I would expect it to retest these highs. So at least I have to give it time to try doing something like that. The trouble is, if you put a downtrend, well, let's see. You put a downtrend, you may be inclined to go short, and at the moment, I wouldn't be thinking about going short just yet. I like to give it a chance because it's, to be fair, it's fitting quite nice in here, so I would expect it to at least make a bit more of an effort than this. But we are close to these highs here. It doesn't mean it can't push up, but I got mixed feelings of this, so for me it's just to sit and wait, I think. I took one NQ, did you? Good on you, mate. Move stop up, it's tired. You got £10 profit, excellent. That should fuel your boat for about 2 minutes. What are you going to do with all your money? Have you taken into consideration fees? Yeah, you may lose 2 seconds. $10. Well, green's green, isn't it, eh? Mind you, fuel's it's expensive over here, fuel. It always, you guys are lucky in the US. Everything seems to be cheaper. Houses are cheaper. Food's cheaper. Your portions are bigger. Everything seems so much bigger in the US. You guys are lucky. I mean, I bought a Vitamix about 7 years ago. Cost me £550, which is about $780. You guys can get them for about $250. It's ridiculous. I know they're American made, of course, but things like barbecues as well. Weber's, they're so expensive over here. The top of the notch, what's the name? The top of the range Weber. Over here, they're about £400 or £500. They're probably, what, less than $300 in the US? You guys are spoiled. You don't know how lucky you are. Everything's so cheap. I know there has been rumours in the past when we came out of the EU having a trade deal with the US, but apparently, so I believe these things take years to iron out all the details. But I wish they'd hurry up. Good whiskey makers here. In fact, I think that's the one thing you do pay a bit more whiskey, isn't it? Obviously, you've got to import it from Scotland, mind you. You probably have more. You probably drink more single malt than all the English and Scots put together, probably, don't you? Yeah. So you guys drink bourbon, don't you? It's of a lower quality, I have to say. I've had a couple of bourbons. I had one of the Woodford Reserve, a bottle of the Woodford Reserve, and I've had, what's the one with the wax on the top, the red wax? Is it Maker's Mark? I think I've had a bottle of that. I don't know. I found it a bit sweet. I did have was it Jack Daniels a while ago? It's quite sweet. When you're used to single malt, it's not as sweet. Although I do like a slightly more sweeter one, but I found it a bit too sweet. I know they do, don't they do a honey one or something? Jack Daniels honey? I think they do a couple of flavours, don't they? Bourbon is way too sweet. Yeah, so you guys tend to neck it, don't you? Whereas I know Scotch is very much done at the nose. You find a lot. To be fair, they go on about there's notes of honey and notes of this. I've never found notes of bloody anything, in all fairness. That's it, yeah. Apple and cinnamon. Yeah, I've seen that. It's like a green label, isn't it? But yeah, I know. Single malt is, I think the more you get into the nose of it and tend to taste and hold it in your mouth a bit, where I think a lot of bourbon is more just sort of necked, isn't it? Red, green and yellow. Yeah, that's it. I think bourbons tend to just sort of more that you tend to neck it. Mind you, that might be just a preference. I gotta say, it was I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago on a New Year's Eve. I did a bottle of I had a lot that night. It put me off whiskey. I never touched whiskey for about 6 months. I think we were going to some friends for New Year's Eve, and we'd gone to a local pub around the corner, and I'd had about 3 pints of Guinness, and I felt bloated, so I went and drunk some whiskey. So I had about 3 double whiskies, and I picked up this about half a bottle of Woodford Reserve with me, and I drank that. I had champagne and wine. I've never been that drunk in my life that I physically couldn't walk. I kept falling through hedges. There's thorny hedges, and I remember picking thorns out one side of my leg for weeks after. I fell down the stairs. I was all bruised. Yeah, I was in a right old state. I can safely say I've never not been able to physically walk before. I was all over the place. Obviously, being winter, my wife was in bed. Clean paper. my wife was in bed and she said, I heard you come up the stairs and I heard bum, 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 bum. As she fell down. She said, I didn't want to get out of bed because it was warm. So I thought I'd just give you a couple of minutes. And then she heard, I was in a rattled state. I never touched whiskey for 6 months after that. Things you do, eh? Paintbrushes. I bet it does a good job as well, doesn't it? Are we coming down here? See, there is a failure there, isn't there? My only slight concern is we pushed up on another turn. I just don't know about this because it could trigger you and push back up. There's nothing, there's no setup on here anyway, so that's the saving grace, but we haven't really made much of an effort to make a new high yet. So, I mean, there's always a possibility that, in fact, that's probably right, there's a channel with a break and a new low and it may push up. I don't know. It's just not clear, so the safest option is just to sort of sit tight, really. So I tried Jack Daniel's. Never even heard of Jack Daniel's coffee. No, never heard of it. See, when I went to Nashville on holiday, coffee, no, never heard of it. That was me a couple of years ago after quite a lot of whiskey. I think it was my mother's birthday and we'd gone out and I'd had a ton of whiskey. And you know when you get like that and you're thinking, I've got to go. I'm going to be sick and I got to go. Yeah, that's the one I got at the moment. I started that one about a week and a half ago. That's nearly gone now. The Sinclair series, Lacheg, single malt no-chill filtered. That was enjoyable, that was. That's another empty one. When was that? January 24th. That was 12 months ago, that was. I've had a bunch of those. Glenlivet's are really easy going. That was another nice one as well. Balvenie Double Wood, really nice that one. Quite pricey, but really nice. There is a possible failure there. Trouble is, it could push up and try for a new high. We could bounce off this level again. Single malt, possible blended malt too. Yeah, the Monkey Shoulder I've had, that's a blended one. I think the Johnny Walker one's there blended as well. I find some of the blended ones a bit harsh. I like the way you get more of a unique taste, because I'm a big fan of the peated ones, and you not that I'm aware of, you generally don't get blended peated that I know of, that I'm aware of. But the the Monkey Shoulder's all right. That's quite a nice drink. That's another quite middle of the road one. But yeah, I tend to like me Ardbegs, me Lagavulins, and me Lafroigs. And Port Charlotte's as well is another nice one I like as well. I do like the peat ones. Absolutely hated them with a passion. When I first ever tried a peated one, it was a Lafroig, 10-year-old Lafroig. Because they dry the grain with peat. They basically dig peat out of the land, let it dry off, and then obviously they soak it, they sprout it, and they dry it with the peat. They burn the peat and dry it, so it makes it kind of smoky and kind of burnt, with a burnt flavour, which when you first try is foul, but it really, strangely enough, grows it. It's just such an unusual taste. But then it really grows on you, and I absolutely love the peated ones. Now, my wife can't stomach them. She'll have the odd Glenfiddich or Glenlivet or something like that, but she can't stomach she can't even smell the peated ones, but I love them. I think it's a bit like Marmite. I don't know whether you guys know what that is. You either sort of love it or you hate it, but it works for me. But yeah, if you're starting out on a whiskey journey, I absolutely recommend the Glenlivet. Really easy going. That was another nice one as well. Old Putney. It's almost got a sort of a coastal, slightly sort of sea saltiness to it. That has a very light saltiness, but really fresh. That was a really nice one. I like that one. Must get another one of those again. But one of my favourites is this one. Is the Aberlour. Really nice drink that is. It's slightly coloured, that one, but a really nice, easy-going drink. Not too strong, not too, strongly flavoured. It's just really smooth. That's a book I'm reading at the moment. Some of us just suffer. I wish. We suffer in silence. My wife says she knows what it's like. So we've come down here now. We've had a double bottom there, so we may push up to the tops here. So if we can get a higher low here. So we've had a channel down there, we've had a break, not quite made a new low. Well, you could argue that that's the channel with a break. It's hard to say, isn't it? Wow, 2 hours and 45 minutes with nothing. That's pretty unusual, that. It's not often there's nothing. I really wouldn't have taken anything today. We may blank here. In fact, the 10,000 tick chart fits quite nice. We've had a break, so it may try and push up. Because we're sort of at the bottoms here. I mean, it is a big may. We're at the bottoms. Trouble is, we may be in a channel, so you just don't know whether we're going to come down like that. Leg up to attempt. In fact, that is starting to look like a bit of a penguin style trade. We got a leg up, got a break, made one attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower, and then it pushes up. So if we can get down below here, and that looks bullish, then I think there's a good chance. Would you get close to that EMA? I think there's a good chance we're going to push high, in which case may look for a it shows great patience when this happens. Yeah, I kind of don't mind blanking sometimes because, you know, obviously patience is a lot to do with it, and it's something we all struggle with. I'm okay with patience at the moment. I'd say my trading skill and my patience are probably my biggest strengths at the moment. It's losing trades that I still struggle with accepting, but I'm trying to put things in place to work on those. But yeah, I mean, if I've sat here for 3 hours and not taken a trade because there hasn't been a setup, I kind of feel good about it, you know, because there's so many different aspects to trading, isn't there? And you've got to be proficient at all of them. Obviously, there's learning the skill, there's having a discipline to sit and wait for them. Obviously, you've got the patience to be able to stay there as well. Discipline to be able to just pick the best. And then obviously you've got to have that psychological strength to be able to accept it when things go wrong. And I would suggest that's probably where most people go wrong. It's certainly where I go wrong or have gone wrong. I like to think now when something happens, I try and put something in place to try and move me forward a bit. So I've reduced my risk. I've said if I lose one trade in a day, I'll either move on to an evaluation or move on to a sim for the remainder of the day just to get screen time. And it gives me chance just to calm down and relax. And the beauty about, you know, one trade is you're never going to lose a lot in one day. So, you know, if I'm struggling to accept the trade, it makes sense that, you know, a loss makes sense that if I have a loss in a day, that I just, you know, don't take any more on that day. And I think another benefit of that as well is if you know you can only take one loss, I think you tend to wait for the better trades rather than take something a little bit more aggressive. So I think it's a good start of moving forward personally. But yeah, I mean, if we end today without a trade, I'm perfectly fine with that. I've done my job. That's what you can only take what the market gives you. You can't create something from nothing. And if you do, you know, it's getting on the realms of gambling then, and that's something I've been trying to sort of get and one and done. I think that's a good idea. I mean, don't get me wrong, if I win a trade, I'll continue to trade, but I think it's probably a better idea if I win two, then I'll probably quit. 2 trades up for the day, I think that's a good number. That is 1 loss, and you move either onto evaluation where the stress goes or onto a sim. But I think it's important to, I think it's like falling off a bike, isn't it? You know, you want to get straight back on, really. Because I know I tend to not blow things on the screen. What I tend to do is shut down and continue to trade. So if I move on to a sim where I'm streaming, hopefully that'll help me avoid it. Once you've spent a little bit of time, you know, 15, 20 minutes, you know, relaxing, carrying on, forgetting, you know, trying to put it behind you, then I think you got more chance of being a bit more successful. And so 2 and through, yeah, I like 2. If I can get 2 winning trades in a row, I'm done. I'm happy with that. But yeah, 1 loss at least, then it you know, it effectively stops you from having a big loss that you can't get back. Someone told me never lose more in enough in one day that you can't get back in another. So fingers crossed. So trouble is, I mentioned that about the penguin style trade. We got a leg up, 2 attempts to go lower, and hopefully we push up. We might have the same issue there. A channel down, 2 attempts to push up, and we come down. So we could go up or down here. I got no idea. I mean, I will say that is encouraging. That we at least make an attempt to go higher. I like the fact that we're close to these bottoms. I prefer to push through them and then sit on top of it, which then I think there's a chance it might push up, and if we can get the right picture here. But the trouble is, depending on how you go along there, we could always, well, look at that. It's all right finding a higher low here and thinking we're going up, and you move 3 ticks up at this line and come down. So we got left. So I'll do another sort of 15 minutes and I'm going to knock it on the head then for the weekend. But I don't really want to trade until we get above this, because if you do take a trade here and you hit that and reverse, you're kind of knackered. Yeah, you too, Kev. Have a good one, mate. Nice weekend off. That's what you want. Yeah, have a good weekend, mate. Yeah, I'm 10 minutes behind you, I think. Okay, so we have bounced off the bottom here, so if we can start to move up, and we can get maybe a higher low above this, ideally push through it and sit on top of it, we may get an offer there. But it equally could come up here and come down, so Yeah, it is a bit slow, Kev, isn't it? It's been a bit like that a lot of the day. We had that initial strong push out. I've got no idea why that did that. You know, you think usually, you know, a bit of a news event and then we recover a lot of it. So we had that sort of 2 legs up and 2 legs down and it slowly started grinding. I mean, personally, I think the way this is holding here, I think it's likely we may push up and hit a new high. But the trouble is, well, I don't know, to be honest with you. It's just hard to read at the moment. It's just going sideways. I mean, it could come down. It could make a couple of attempts to push up and then drop. I don't know. It's a bit of an odd day today, I've got to say. It's probably the one of the oddest trading days we've had for a while. Personally, mind you, if your chart may be slightly different and you took something, you might think it was all right. But I think I find it unusual that I can't look back and think, yeah, perhaps I should have taken that one. But I genuinely, there's nothing that I would have taken. I mean, not even this early stuff, really. Nothing there. So you got that first attempt. There's nothing there, really. I mean, there's a sort of a second entry short, but you got a double bottom. I see. I mean, really, I don't know. There's nothing I can see in all fairness. So we've come off the bottom, so pushing up. So if we can get a higher low, which is sitting on here, and we're low enough from the top, it may be an option. But what I don't want to do is get caught out and it end up coming back down and trapping me. You can trade the ES with CFDs to much smaller position size. Yeah. I don't think you guys can in the US. So you're Germany, aren't you? No, not an Apex. I don't know whether you US guys can trade it without having have you got the pattern day trading rule? I think that would include CFDs, wouldn't it? So we're lucky in the UK. I can trade anything. There's no. I've got no rules, but I'm pretty sure to trade stocks in general. Haven't you guys got to have over $25,000 in an account? Whereas futures, I don't know why, because you can trade futures. Where's the difference? I don't. Who knows? But we're kind of lucky over here. We haven't really got restrictions, mind you. You got better options for cryptocurrency in the US. They seem to be kicking any exchanges out. I mean, you can't use Binance in the UK now. You can't use Bybit in the UK now. You can't use who's the other? I use Kraken a little bit, but there was another one you can't use now. It's just strict regulations in the UK. Obviously, they're just trying to. I don't know whether they like people trading with cryptocurrency anymore. Trouble is, you put money in cryptocurrency, it's not in the banks, and the banks aren't making any money out of you. Trouble is, the banking industry is the biggest con known to man. We put millions and millions into the bank, you get nothing for it, and they invest it, make a ton of money out of it, and we get nothing for it. So I tend to not leave money in the bank now. Or at least put it somewhere. P2 rules are correct, yeah. Why is the reason for it? Because, as long as you're within your margin, well, where's the problem? When you have a margin for obvious reasons. So, I mean, surely, really, if you give people an option with smaller pockets to be able to trade, you're going to get more traders coming into the market, hence more money, more sort of liquidity coming in. And I don't get it, especially as you can trade futures. It doesn't make sense. I mean, trading's trading, really. You're betting on an outcome, aren't you? Hopefully with the intent on making money. I don't know. Okay, so we seem to be going a bit sideways. You could say 1, 2, 1, 2. Got to be careful going along here in case it comes back into this range. We are starting to push towards the top, but you know, are we going to get up or what? Nothing for us there really. Plus there are some offshore options. Warrior Trading Guy uses them when he does. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's usually a way, isn't there? I know things like I can trade things like Binance and Bybit if I have a what is that thing that option you could sign up to where you don't have a what do you call it? I've gone blank. They can't trace your email, can they? You sign on via a portal or something. I can't remember what it is, but there's usually ways. I kind of like Bybit because it's really cheap and there's a lot of cryptocurrency on there. And I like the setup. Okay, so that does look like it's pushing up. Unfortunately, there's no real entry there. I mean, you may have had I don't know, there was a couple of legs down and that, but I didn't like the stem and it was quite big. So that's just in the middle a bit. US traders are not allowed. Can't use Binance in the UK. You can't put money in it from UK banks. Same with Bybit. Not Kraken. Who's the other one? There's a few of them they stopped. You can use things like use Binance in Ireland. I don't know whether it's different in Ireland. Let me have a look. But I used to use Bybit, and then we got told to take any money out. Yeah, not permitted. British Financial Watch says not permitted to undertake with Binance for some reason. There's a few of them. I think Binance, Bybit. Hate that when that happens. It's there, isn't it? Yeah, there was another one as well. I used to use too, Kraken and something out. It depends. So brokers will say no. Yeah, I think you just can't put money in from you can't transfer money from UK banks. I mean, you could probably, if you want to do it, you could probably say put money into crypto.com, buy, I don't know, Bitcoin, and then send it to a wallet at Binance. There's probably ways of doing it. But apparently someone told me that with Binance, if you try to put money in or from the UK, they flag up something. I don't quite know. I mean, I have some crypto in sort of in a wallet, and I tend to leave the rest of mine in Kraken. I tend to like Kraken. We can use it over here. But I did like Bybit. Okay, so we've pushed up, made a new high, maybe a bit of an overshoot there. And we're right at the tops here, so are we going to continue up or are we going to come down? There is a bearish bar there, but it's a bit congested, and to me that's like picking a top. It could come down, maybe it will, but I'm not a fan of picking tops and bottoms. I mean, you could also put that something like that. I think that would more or less fit. So there is a possibility that it's triggered. It could put, I don't know. It's just not clear at the moment, really. There was no option for a trade there, and we just pushed up. I think that for me will be a bit hit and miss. I'd probably trade that on an evaluation. I'll tell you what. A bit late now, isn't it? Which is my evaluation 66. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to shut down Replicanto. I'm just going to trade my evaluation. I'll leave me PA. Let me just check.
Order submitted.
Yeah, well, coming to the end anyway. Yeah, this is my evaluation.
Order cancelled.
I'd rather have a punt with that, really. Still don't like the fat going along into there. Fact, I'm going to take a little risk here and go
Order
short.
filled.
It's a small risk. If we come down, great. It is only on a, what's it? It's only 2 contracts, isn't it? What's the risk? $175. I don't mind there. We're right at the top here, see, and we've hit that twice. So I think this may come down. We've made a new high. So just moved over onto an evaluation. Let's see what happens. We are at these highs here again. So I don't mind the risk there. Quite a nice bearish bar. I'd expect it maybe to get down to here. So we're stalling at the top here, so I think there's a good chance this could come down. There is a bearish bar there. I don't mind the risk. It's only on an evaluation. I don't mind being a bit more aggressive there. We have made new highs here and here. I'd like to see a bit of a break here.
Target filled.
Beautiful. Okay, so I thought that was worth a punt. So it's all closed down. So 1, 2, 3, 2 points. Okay, so part of the reason why I took it, I generally don't pick those. I certainly wouldn't do it on a PA account. But we're right at the tops here, and we seem to be struggling. So I think it's a good chance we come back to the EMA and the same there. So I thought that was worth a go. I mean, you could probably even do that. Let's make that a bit darker. So it does look like a tight channel with a break and a new high. That's played out. This channel's played out, and we really seem to be struggling to get above there. So I wouldn't have traded on a PA, but I trade a little bit more aggressively on an evaluation because I don't mind it. It doesn't stress me out. So if I took a loss or two, I'd come back tomorrow perfectly fine on there. So. So, in fact, we've been going for 3 hours and 10 minutes, so I'm going to probably knock it on the head there, actually. It's one of those tough days today. It's not often you can, in hindsight, looking at it after, that I can find, a trade that maybe I missed or maybe I'd have had a go at. You just can't trade nothing there. You can't trade nothing there. There's just nothing anywhere, really. The channel break, new low. We've sort of retested it there, and there was sort of a higher low there, but it's still congested. But I had a feeling it was going to push up. At the time, we were at these lows, so so we'll see. It's just one of them days today. It's just a bit dull and a bit boring, but it does happen sometimes. What about the second entry long that just formed? That one there. I don't really want to go long at the moment because we're at these tops again, see, and that's kind of like why I have this now. I'm not saying it's not going to push up, but I mean, technically that channel's there. We've had a break of it and we've made a new high. There's a short-term trend channel. We've had a break of it. We've had a new high, and it's very slow. So I wouldn't be shocked if we came down a little bit. And not only that, the trouble is it's a second entry long, but it's an inside bar. So it may work, but we've just come off these highs, so I wouldn't be thinking about going long just yet. It might work, but for me, Mac won't mark that. It's clearly an inside bar, and we've had so it's just a bit crappy, that, to be fair. It may work, but it's not a good setup, that isn't. But it is a funny old day. So, yeah, you don't really want to be going long, especially when this is going to the highs. And there may even be a bit of a range there. Yeah, I'd sort of suggest there is, actually. We've hit that level a few times. We've hit that twice. Let's say there, maybe. Yeah, it's... yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, but that's an inside bar, really, so you don't want to be taking things like that. Just the fact that it worked is by the by, really. That'll take you out way more times than it won't. Excuse me a sec. So, leg up. Could be a correction. We could go higher. There's always the possibility. It could do. Yeah, it's a funny old day today. Strange day. Yeah, it's one of the oddest looking channels I've seen, days I've seen for a while. Okay, that's me done, I think. Okay, so yeah, a bit of an odd day. So I'm quite happy not to trade my PA account on this. There's nothing really. That was a bit of a punt. We were at the highs here. I thought there was a fair chance this get back to the EMA, so I got it for a couple of points there. But I wouldn't normally trade that. But when you've been trading a while, I think you get an idea what something's going to do, and you get better at sort of picking it. But I would say the chance of it happening is more than not. But as I say, I wouldn't trade a PA account like that, because obviously you want to be a little bit more careful with those. But sort of that was sort of going on more sort of gut feeling, really. I expected it to get down here, as I did here. So it worked for a couple of points. But if someone did a back testing, if someone did a back testing on the second entry. If someone did a back testing on the second entry. Do I know if someone did? I think that's what you mean. Well, Mac's been trading them for 28 years. I think that's what you mean. If someone did a back testing on the second entry. I mean, he's been trading them consistently for years. I think that's what you mean anyway. But, if you're following Mac's price action thing, in all fairness, I would say I haven't seen a lot of them. But Mac's system, I 100% believe in it. It's all right, mate. Don't worry about it. I 100% believe in it. Not only that, he charges you $125 for a year. That's not someone trying to make money out and trying to rip you off. That's someone putting a little bit back into the community. I mean, he's been putting videos on YouTube for the last 12 years. You don't hang around for that long unless you don't know what you're doing. But price action, when you've learned some skills and you've got some, your patience is working well, and you sit and wait for those particular trades, you really can get a high win percentage. It's not that difficult, but obviously you need to be disciplined enough to wait for those setups, and obviously you've got to learn to take them. I tend to have a really good win rate up until when I take a loss, and that tends to affect me. When I started those other accounts, I had 14 trades in a row before I lost a trade, but then you lose one, and then I lost another one straight after, and I lost one the following day. So it has that psychological effect. And not only that, sometimes the more you win, what I was finding, because I wanted to keep my high win percentage, instead of waiting for 2 points, I was coming out after a point or even 2 ticks, because I'd rather have a win and have a high win percentage. But the trouble is, a win percentage really, it actually doesn't really tell you a great deal. If you say, if someone says I've got a 50% win percentage, you think, well, you're losing half your trades. But if he's risking 1 to make 3, then he's really good at it. But it is relative to how much profit. The sort of, the more profit, the less risk, the less of a win percentage you need, really. So the reason I like this is because high probability trades, you generally win. You generally lose less, but you obviously don't make as much profit as maybe some other traders who trade a slightly different way. But I think when you're quite new to it, I think it's good to take less losses. But no one likes taking losses, but losses really do give you some good lessons. And another thing I mentioned I mentioned last week, a lot of people say, I put 10,000 into trading, or I've put 20,000 into trading, and you think, I can't be very good, I've thrown a lot of money away. Look at it like this. This is your career. You're building up to a career with hopefully a very lucrative income and a great lifestyle. Now, if you went to university in the UK on a 3-year course, you would pay at least £9,500 per year. So if you add materials and other fees into that, you'd be talking about £30,000 for a 3-year degree for your career. And I'm guessing you're not going to earn as much money in that chosen career as you are as a trader. So putting £20,000 in over 3 years, I think, is a small price to pay, really. When you think about, if you do 5 years at university, it's going to cost you a fortune. Some of these young kids, leave university with 30, 40, 50,000 pounds worth of debts. So, I think putting £20,000 in to learn to trade over 3 years, I think it's a good investment, really. So if you think about it like that, don't think about, I've lost this much, I've lost that much. What you're doing effectively is paying for education. So you are going to have to stick at it. It is hard. You're going to do a lot of fails before you start to get wins. The reason of that is because you've got to start to just change the way that mind thinks. Because as human beings, we don't want to lose stuff. We don't want to give stuff away. If I make $200 in the market, I don't want to give it back. It's my money. You consider it as your money. When really, it's money that's coming in and out the account over a period of time. You look at a month and think, okay, I've made $1,500 on this. Not, I had a really bad day and lost $200. I'm gutted. And that's what I'm trying to get into my head at the moment. Think about the bigger picture. But yeah, it's just a thought I had about that. About you pay money to go to university and for education. People pay a lot of money for education. Towards their careers. So if you've lost money in that and it's getting you down, just think about you're invested in yourself there. So anyway, I've rabbited on enough. So I'm done for the day and the week. So no trades on the PA account. I took a couple of points on the evaluation. So I like having the option to flick onto evaluation if if need be. So we've been going for nearly 3.5 hours, which is a little bit longer than I normally do. So you are welcome, my friend. So have a great weekend. Get away, have a relax, have a chill out, and I'll be back here on Monday. We got no holidays coming up, I don't think, have we? So have a great weekend. If you carry on trading, best of luck. I hope you get a setup. But failing that, have a great weekend. Stay safe, and I will see you all again, and we'll have a chat and do it all again on Monday. Bye for now.